A little while back, I was seriously, and I mean seriously, about to buy a tiny house. I made another video about it earlier, and I'd done the research. I'd watched the videos. I had the numbers in my head, and it wasn't one thing, it was several things. And honestly, I'm really glad they did these several things. Now, if you're sitting there right now thinking about downsizing into a tiny home, I want you to stay with me through this whole video, because what I'm about to share took me a long time to figure out, and I don't want you to learn it the hard way. I think my camera might be a little crooked. Not sure. Okay. Now, let me give you a little background so this makes sense. I own a home. It's about 3,600 square foot. And I paid cash for it. No mortgage, no bank breathing down my neck. On paper, I'm in a great position. But here's the thing nobody tells you about owning a big home, free and clear. It still costs you every single month. Yep, it does. And of course, the utilities, the maintenance, the property taxes, the insurance, the lawn, the pool, the repairs that seem to show up right when you least expect them. Well, I got a dog needing to go to the vet again. But yeah, I mean, so far I've been handling it. And I don't have that many maintenance repairs anyway. But I've already taken care of most of them. So, but anyway, they seem to show up when you least expect them. Sound familiar? So I'm guessing some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And at some point, I think it was somewhere, I don't know, I think it was 3 years ago or so, that I started asking myself, do I really need all of this? I'm in the sunroom right now. And at some point, I think it was, it was about 3 years ago that I started asking, about, do I really need all of this? And so that's when I started looking into the tiny homes. And I'll be honest with you, the videos online make them really look amazing. I even watched a few today. And beautiful little spaces, clever storage, low bills, freedom. And I thought maybe that was it. Maybe that was the answer. And I even started pricing them out, of course, like I've done before, or like I did earlier, before on a previous video. And then, here's where it got interesting, though, because the more I dug in, the more the picture started to change, and the more I kept digging in, kept changing some more. So, but here's the 5 things that stopped me. And you can consider these for yourself. Well, number 1 is the cost wasn't what I expected. The first thing that slowed me down was the money. Now, I know that sounds backwards. Tiny homes are supposed to save you money, right? But when I actually started looking at real numbers, custom builds, trailers or foundations, permits, utility hookups, land or a place to park it, I started seeing price tags of $80,000, $120,000, and even pushing $200,000. I even saw some today. They were on YouTube. Yeah. And I thought, wait a minute. I already own a home worth about $500,000 or more, paid in full. If I sell it and put that money to work wisely, I have real options. A tiny home at $150,000 isn't automatically the smart financial move just because it's smaller. The math only works if the whole picture works. And for me, it didn't automatically add up the way I thought it would. And the second thing that stopped me was something I didn't even think to ask about first. The zoning laws. Yeah. Depending on where you want to put a tiny home, what city, what county, what state, the rules are completely different. Some places welcome them. Some places barely tolerate them. Some places will shut you down entirely. And if the tiny home is on wheels, a lot of banks won't even finance it like a regular home. It gets treated more like an RV. And that certainty, that legal gray area, started to feel like a lot of stress for something I was doing to reduce stress. So here's where it got really personal for me. And this is the part I think most people don't think about, or don't even want to think about, actually. I had to be honest about my age. You know, I'm 70 years old, and I say that not to complain. I feel pretty good. I mean, I got health problems, like I said, but I'm grateful, and I'm really grateful for what I have. And a lot of tiny homes have like loft sleeping areas, and I had to just sit down and really be honest with myself. You have to climb a steep, narrow staircase, sometimes practically a ladder, to get to your bed every single night. And that might feel fine today, but what about 5 years from now, or 10 years, like I mentioned previously in another video? Well, my balance is changing. It is changing some. And, what if my knees start giving me trouble? My back does. I mean, I have back problems. And I know I couldn't do those steep steps, to the loft. Now, some do have bedrooms on the main floor, but golly, they're so tiny. But anyway, what if I ever needed a walker, or someone needs to come help me at home, or God forbid, a hospital bed, like I said before? But I want to ask you something directly, and I want you to really think about it, not just for today, but for the version of yourself 10 years from now. Does the space you're actually considering actually work for that person too in 5 or 10 years, whatever age you are? Or even if you had an accident, car accident, motorcycle, whatever. And you need that extra space. I mean, we don't like to think about that. We really don't, but it's just something I think, you should question. And so, but not for just today, but for the version of yourself 5 or 10 years, from now. So do you think that space, like 8 feet wide by some are 14 long? Well, I saw one today at 14 wide by 17 long, I think. I guess it was a home build. But, yeah, it's pretty small. It's like a bedroom, maybe. Anyway, does the space you're considering actually work for that person, your future person also? A tight bathroom, a narrow doorway, the loft bed, unless you can get one, with a main bed. These things can go from charming, really charming, to genuinely dangerous faster than we expect. And downsizing should give you more freedom, not quietly take it away. And here's one nobody talks about in the tiny home videos. I haven't seen it. I've lived in a big home for a long time. I have space, I have rooms, I have breathing room. And when I really imagine myself in like just the bedroom, the size of my pool, which is 20 feet wide by 40 feet long, which if they have a tiny home, just a tiny home, not an ADU, tiny home has to be 8 feet wide just to go down the road on a trailer. So, think of 8 feet wide. So if I have to think of 250 or 300 square feet, I just realized something. It was about identity. It was about what that space represents. The life I've built here, the memories on my walls. And so letting go of a big home isn't just a financial transaction. It's an emotional one. And I don't think I was ready to do that without really thinking it through first. So have you ever thought about that part? Not just the money, it's an emotional one. And I don't think I was ready to do that without really thinking it through first. Yeah, I've been spending, time on, like I said, on different living options. I keep coming back to staying. I always do. And sitting on my equity. It's not just sitting on the equity. It's just this home is so huge, and I've got everything I want here. So, but when I stopped chasing the tiny home idea and started looking at the real problem I was trying to solve, I realized the problem wasn't the size of my house. And the problem wasn't the cost and complexity of maintaining it. And because there are ways to solve that without going all the way down to 300 square feet or even 5. I don't know. Now, I do know somebody that lives in one that's about, I haven't asked him. It's either 800 or 1,000 square foot, but it's an ADU. It's on concrete foundation. They've been living in that about at least 7, 8 years, or 10, yeah, at least 7, 8 years, I think. And no, it's a cute little, yeah, it's cute. And I'll talk about that in a future video. And yeah, I've even helped clean the house and everything. But there's something else I kept coming back to when I'm thinking about the tiny houses. I've seen people, real people, not just on YouTube videos, who moved into tiny homes and absolutely loved it at first. And I get it, the simplicity, the lower bills, the feeling of starting fresh. And then life changed for them. And actually, I just watched one recently. Oh my gosh, she's been just so lovely, just in so much love with her tiny home. And I think she just got it like in December, and she's already giving it up. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But life changed, changes for people. And after the glamour, the ones that I've seen who moved in the tiny homes absolutely loved it at first. And, because of the lower bills and the feeling of starting fresh. But then life changed for them. So maybe family needs shifted. A grandchild came along, and suddenly you need a place for them to stay. Or priorities changed. Or what felt freeing at 50, 58 years old started feeling cramped at 65. And some of them, I'm not making this up, actually ended up putting the tiny home into storage. That's the one I just saw. And I remember thinking, how does a tiny house go into a storage unit? But, I was really, well, how does that work? How does it go into storage? So, but here's the thing, a lot of tiny homes are just built on trailers. So they have wheels underneath them. They're not an ADU. ADU, as I explained in a couple other videos, are on the concrete permanent foundations. But just a tiny home on wheels. And of course, some of the tiny home lots, community lots, or lots in communities, they may require that you put skirting around the tiny home so your wheels don't show. And that was true when, we didn't have to. But I used to live in a mobile home years ago in a 16 by 80. It's a 3-bedroom. It was good size. It was a really good size. But that was a mobile home. And we put skirting around the wheels. We didn't put it on permanent foundation. But here's the thing. A lot of tiny homes, they're just built on trailers. They have the wheels underneath them. So technically, yes, you can hitch them up and move them or store them. Like in a RV storage place or boat storage. We've used those before for our RV. And a lot of tiny homes, you know, they're on the trailers already, or they can be put on the trailers. They have wheels underneath them, so technically, yes, you just hitch them up and move them, or store them, of course, which is kind of fascinating when you think about it, I think. You just pick your house up and go. I mean, well, it takes a little preparation, depending on your hookups and everything. But it also tells you something important. When a home ends up in storage, that's not a small decision that didn't work out. That's a big decision that didn't work out. In my opinion, it sure is. I mean, I don't know. It just is. And at this stage of my life, we don't always have the time or the energy to recover from those as easily as we used to, those kind of moves. And I started looking at the ADUs, like somebody I know has, accessory dwelling units. Now, and I have a pool shed on my property that I've been seriously considering converting, and that's a whole other video. And I'll be making that one, you know, fairly soon. But, you know, I have some other videos to make in between. But I also started thinking differently about what I could do with a $500,000 asset if I ever decide to sell. That's not a small thing. That's real financial flexibility if you use it wisely. So the point is, I had more options than I realized, and so might you. But here's where I landed. I'm not buying a tiny house, at least, no. I mean, no, I don't think I'll ever buy one. You know, like I said, if I ever need a hospital bed, well, I even know, even one of my dogs couldn't make the stairs. No, I have basically, well, there's only 2 or 3 steps for them to get out to the pool or the grassy area, and then back up the steps. Yeah, she can't do stairs anymore, or jump. She can't jump in cars, and I couldn't move into one if I still want my dog. So that's out for me too. And you might think about that too if you have animals. They're going to be getting older in the near future that won't be able to do the jumping or run up the stairs to maybe a loft bedroom, or, you know, just whatever. So, but not because tiny homes are bad. They're not. And for the right person in the right situation, they can be genuinely wonderful choice. So, maybe younger people or something. But for me, at 70, owning a paid-off home, thinking about the next, 10 to 20 years of my life, I don't think I hit the 20 for sure. The tiny home wasn't solving the right problem. And I think that's the question worth asking before any big housing decision. Not, is this trendy? Not, does this look good on YouTube? But what problem am I actually trying to solve? And is this the best way to solve it? So I've spent a lot of time thinking about this stuff, and I'll keep making videos about it because I think there's a lot of people out there in similar situations who just want someone to talk through it honestly and just have real conversation about it. And so if you're over 50 or over 60 or over 70, I'm barely over 70, like me, and you're trying to figure out what the next chapter of your housing life looks like, then you're not alone. And there's no one right answer. And there are better and worse questions to ask. But I hope this video helped you to ask a few better ones. And now I'd really love to know, are you thinking about downsizing? Have you looked at tiny homes? What's holding you back? Or what's pushing you forward? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And your story might help someone else who's sitting right where you are. If this resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe. And, this channel is about real housing decisions, real finances, real peace of mind. And for people who are done, and just, with, I don't know, different kind of videos, and just want honest conversations. I'd love for you to, subscribe. But I've got more videos coming, including, I already did one about the ADUs, about the states offering the grants. But yeah, I'm going to do another one on the ADUs, especially the person I know, once they get back from on their trip. So I wanted to find out exactly their square footage. And then, of course, I'll continue to let you know what I'm going to actually consider doing with my own property as I age. So stick around, and I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.